medical stories. Medical stories. The IUD, you guys. It's out. It's out, and I feel so free. No, it's out. Okay? So here's the tale. I was not going to make an appointment because I was terrified, and you know how that last appointment ended. But one of my best friends, her name is Dickel. Not legally, her legal name is Lana, but like her name's Dickel. So Dickel told me that I had to call, and so I called them and I made this appointment. So I was super proud at doing one adult thing. So the unadult thing I did was freak out about it last night when I realized that I need to like mentally prepare myself for what's about to happen. So I had to know. So I started Googling like people's experiences with getting the IUDs taken out. And it was like horror story, bloodbath, extreme pain. I died 5 times. Like it was the worst story. So I'm like, then I had a panic attack and I was crying and sobbing and I could not sleep. And Alex luckily took off work this morning to go with me because there was no way I could do this alone. Because if you guys remember, getting it put in was like basically someone just punching my internal organs repeatedly for like 1 hour. Oh. So go in to get it removed, and I'm kind of assuming it's going to be the same sort of situation. So that was like some of the worst pain of my life. It was extremely invasive and horrifying. So I go in there, and they're taking my blood pressure and weighing my body meat and stuff. And that's all going fine. And then the lady asks me the question, do you mind if we have a student come in here and use your body as a specimen for science and learning? And every time that happens, I'm like, yes. But today, because I was already like on the verge of a mental breakdown, I was like, nope, not today. To you, that may not seem like a huge deal, but to me, like saying no, like when I can't do that. It is not easy for me to confront people, to talk to people about things, which is why probably my social sphere is y'all. And I'm just like, I talk to you, but never even see your own true face unless it's on like Instagram, which by the way, I love Instagram. Okay. I'm getting so sidetracked because I'm just like really actually excited right now about this. So anyways, I finally denied someone that asked me something and I was like, no, you cannot bring the student in because I just want this to be quick and painless. So they bring in the nurse brings in this like packet, this sealed packet. And inside are like 14-inch super pointy forceps. And she sets them down on the table and she sees me like sweating and I'm like looking at them like this. And she like really quick like flips it over because she could tell I was panicked, but like the damage was done. So I'm like, oh crust, I'm so scared. So the nice doctor comes in and she's talking to me about like, oh, so you don't want to get a new one inserted? And I'm like, no, because I don't know if it's going to pop out again. And she's like, oh, Dr. Johnson didn't like talk to you about your other options. And I'm like, oh no, actually she didn't. I didn't say she kicked me out of her office because that was too sassy. But even just that, even saying no to her, like, no, she did not say that to me. I started to cry. Do you guys realize that I'm like tweaked? So, but not like, no, I was like, I was just like one single tear. I was like, no, she didn't tell me anything. And I'm like sitting there afraid of all humanity. So she noticed and she was kind of like looking at me really concerned. She probably should have been, but I was holding it together like for the most part. So I told her, I'm like, Dr. Johnson didn't really tell me about, is this distracting you? Sorry. Just tell me about any of my options about IUDs. And so I said, I don't know if getting a new one in is a good idea because it seems like if this one fell out, then the next one would probably fall out. And she's like, well, and she started getting really weird. She's like, well, actually, I've noticed a disproportionately large number of the women I'm giving IUDs to of different brands come back and they're in their lower uterus and we have to remove them. And she's like, for a while, I thought this was something I was doing wrong. But, I'm following all the training I got. Like, no one's ever told me anything has changed. So she said, I actually brought this up to the vendor that sells us the IUDs. And he told me, are you ready for this shit? He told me that there is a defective lot of IUDs that's been on the market for a few years. And they've noticed that they are not staying in position and they're all slipping out. So they're just waiting for that batch to get used up. A doctor told me this. Mark my words. Listen to me right now. We need to do something because I know I'm going to start getting heated. I need to take these off because I'm going to start screaming. I've probably been screaming the whole time because I know that there was like a bunch of women posted in the comments last time. No, I like them better on. That posted in the comments last time that their IUDs pops out. I have had like 6 or 7 friends whose IUDs have popped out in the last couple years. And guys, it's not just like popping out. You have it. Remember I did the diagram of the uterus? I think I did it like this, and this is uterus. Your cervix is here. Like that's like this is opening. And it's inside of there, okay? That might have gotten weird. I'm not going to do that motion. It's inside of there. So it's irritating you. It's poking and stabbing you. So for the first 3 or 4 months I had the IUD, I was like in pain, okay? And so then I got used to it, but I didn't realize that I was basically always kind of like walking around like this. Like I was just in all this pain. So it's not like a little kind of tiny problem. And also when it's in the lower uterus, as I told you in the last video, you can get preg-o. So like they're selling these defective products. Like, okay, I can understand. If you have like a sweater that has like a loose button and you still sell it for the same price, okay, whatever. But like if this is contraceptives that are implanted in someone's body and meant to stay there for years and prevent and prevent pregnancies, you can't have a defective product. Am I spitting? I'm getting heated right now if you can't tell. You can't do that. This is people's health and people's lives, So a friend suggested to me a little something called a class action lawsuit, which I don't know anything about. If you do, please advise me, because this has been extremely emotional and extremely painful and just a wreck. This past year has been ridiculous because of this IUD. So we need to do something. Like something's got to happen. This is so not cool with me that she admitted that like, yep, they're just putting defective stuff in people's bodies, waiting for them to fall out, and then they'll make a new batch. Like, no, recall that shit. Give me my monies back. And help people out that are now in pain. You can get pelvic inflammatory disease. Like this is serious. This isn't like, oh, just a loose little thread loose. No, this is like some serious stuff right now. So anyways, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so she said, yes, I do not recommend you getting another one put in because I cannot guarantee it's not from the defective lot that's still floating around the freaking cosmos. she get up in the stirrups, the stuff's, she's probing me and whatever. And she grabs the IUD strings and she says something like, she like makes a sound and I'm like, oh fuck, something's going wrong. And then nothing went wrong. It was out. It was like a tiny little piece of paint and it was out. And guess what? This is going to be I don't know why I preface things like this because you guys know that I'm kind of nasty, but you know that feeling like if you have a big zit that you pop? When you're like, oh god damn it, and then you pop it and it's just like, and you feel so much better, even though it's a horrible idea to pop zits. I've tried to stop doing it. It's just kind of like really fun. I'm really weird. But that was kind of like the feeling because it was like, I didn't realize how everything was, and I got it out and I like stood up like straight for the first time in a year. And I'm like, oh my God, like there's not something probing my internal organs right now. I feel so good. Thought I heard cat running. Oh, there she sits. So it was just such a blessed thing. Like I feel awesome. I'm very terrified of accidentally having a son, but we're gonna try and do something about that. But anyways, that's ridiculous what the doctor admitted to me. So I just want to say, guys, give me some legal advice. Like what can we do? And if we all band together, people who have had this experience or know someone with this experience, I bet that we could get things done. Because this cannot happen to another woman. What happened to me? This is terrible. It was not cool. But hopefully this is the last for a while that I will be telling you guys about my medical. This is turning into like a medical vlog, the doctor vlog. That's what I should just call myself now. But I'm going to go take my cats outside. Oh, I just got an email, I think. Someone messaged me. All right. Not that you needed to know that. All right. Bye, y'all.